Thank you. We're going to continue on now with our next presenter, Rick Smith. Rick Smith is the founder and president of Hope Story, a nonprofit that promotes the beauty and value of all human life by providing hope and encouragement to families whose child has just received a Down syndrome diagnosis. For over 7 years, Rick has created awareness about raising a child with Down syndrome worldwide via his blog and social media channels. Rick's passion about helping people use their story to help make a difference in the lives of others. He lives in Dallas, Texas with his wife of over a decade, Abby, and his 3 children, Noah, Jackson, and Cohen. Rick, can you share with us your hope story and presentation?
Well, what an honor to be here. You know, when I was a kid, we would watch Sesame Street, and they'd put up like 3 apples and a clown, and they would say, can you guess which one is not like the others? That's how I feel right now, literally. So I don't even know how they'll let anybody in here. So listen, I want to tell you a little bit about our story. And so here we go. So this is our son right here. His name is Noah. You'll see him on the next slide here. It's coming. He's coming. You guys got it? There he is. This is our son Noah. And we were surprised to learn about 3 hours after his birth. I have the clicker, so that was my bad. We were surprised to learn about 3 hours after his birth that he was born with Down syndrome. And so, you know, the Bible tells us that God knitted this little boy together in his mother's womb, that God knew exactly. I was surprised. My wife was surprised, but God certainly wasn't surprised when this little boy came out. And as these 2 geeks before me showed you, I mean that in the most honoring of ways. That little baby's a human, fully human. And so I'm going to show you the next picture. This is our family. Now that's Noah today. In the middle, that's our 4-year-old son Jackson, who's here right now. Our 1-year-old son Cohen, my beautiful wife Abby, who's a pediatrician, and me. And so this is our family. And, you know, thank you. This is our family. But here's the problem. So what I'm here today to tell you a little bit about is a problem that because you love the cause of life, you probably already are aware of the problem. The problem is this, is that most people that find out they're going to have a Noah, their family picture doesn't look like this. For most people that find out prenatally that their child is going to be born with Down syndrome, about 67% of those families choose to abort their child. And so there's different numbers floating around. You might have heard the 90-some-odd%, but we're talking specifically about women who choose prenatal testing, find out those results. 67% choose to abort their child. In fact, you might have even heard a news story that was going around lately that talked about a country that said they were going to eradicate Down syndrome. And here's what you need to know about that. I'm all for eradicating cancer, eradicating the flu, eradicating the cold. But when we talk about eradicating Down syndrome, we're not talking about eradicating a disease. We're talking about eradicating an entire people group, like my son and his friends. And so what I'm here today to talk to you about is not eradicating cancer. Please, let's cure cancer. I hope these people and their best friends who are probably geeks, they can eradicate cancer. But what I want to do is not eradicate and terminate an entire group of people like my son. And so 67% of people choose to do that. This is my friend Cece. Cece, her mom and dad live just right down the street in Virginia. When they found out that their daughter was going to be born with Down syndrome, their doctor, their medical doctor, tried to pressure them, tried to mention multiple times about aborting their child in the womb. There was one appointment where this mother was in the office with her OBGYN. Her husband wasn't there. The doctor cornered her in the office without her husband and said, "Are you sure you really want to do this?" She said, "I do." The doctor went on to say, "I have a staff member who is very Catholic, and she even aborted her child that potentially had Down syndrome." This woman changed OBGYNs. Cece's a happy little girl. I was recently in New York City. I met this family. This family here, when they found out, when their doctor called them, their medical professional who took that Hippocratic oath called them to let them know their child might likely be born with Down syndrome, on that same phone call offered to make an appointment to abort that child. A medical professional. Now, there are lots of really great medical professionals. My wife is one of them. These folks are several of them. But there are doctors out there. These are folks that we trust. These are folks that took an oath to help us, that say, hey, you just had a baby. You have a baby in your womb. I can help you terminate that child simply because they have 3 copies of their 21st chromosome. And so here's really 2 problems. The problems are that most medical professionals do not receive training in medical school on how to deliver a Down syndrome diagnosis with hope, accurate resources. And most OBGYNs don't have a personal relationship with anyone with Down syndrome. So you've got these really incredible medical professionals, incredibly trained, incredibly smart, and I really even believe at their heart that they don't mean anything really negative by this, but no one has ever come alongside them and said to them, hey, let me tell you what life is like raising a child with Down syndrome. Let me tell you the journey that we're on. Let me tell you, and I mean this, because before we had Noah, Noah's 8, before we had Noah, we would go to we might be in a place like this with folks like you, and someone would be up here saying, man, this is so great. I wouldn't change anything about this. And if I were in your seat, I'd go, man, that's just what you're supposed to say. That's just what you're supposed to say. It's like if you get cancer and you go, man, God has really blessed me with this. That's just what you're supposed to say. But let me just tell you, as a dad 8 years into this journey, I can tell you on the other side of the equation, it's true. Our son Noah has been one of the biggest blessings in our life. We wouldn't change 1 chromosome on him. Our life is better because of Noah. Other people's lives are better because of Noah, and I believe there's babies who are alive because of Noah. And so here's the deal. Here's the solution to this. Thank you. We believe personal relationships plus the medical community can result in saved lives. Personal relationships plus the medical community can result in saved lives. Because as my wife and I thought, how can we save the lives of these 67% of children? We said, well, look, a lot of these women, they go and their doctors or their friends, I say friends really in quotes, tell them, hey, you just go over to this abortion clinic. No one's going to know. You're not very far along in your pregnancy. You can try again. And you go, okay. And what you and I know is that woman will always know. We know that woman, just because she aborted her child, 1, she's always going to be a mom to that child. 2, I know that God has the grace to forgive them. If they have made that choice, God loves them. He can take their story, redeem it, and use them. You know, because there are, maybe even in this room, people that have aborted their child. And you need to know if that's something that you've done, you're not too far removed from God's grace. You need to know that. God can forgive you and save you just like he can save a wretch like me. And so this is what we believe the solution is. We call it the Hope Advocate process. And so what we're trying to do is connect every OBGYN in America to a family raising a child with Down syndrome. We call these families Hope Advocates. So what will happen is a woman can come to our website, hopestory.org, enter some information in there, upload a picture of their child. They'll get this really cool Hope Kit in the mail. Inside this Hope Kit is a bunch of really amazing resources. One of those things is a Hope announcement. The Hope announcement is this card that has a picture of their child and some other really cool resources. They take it into their OBGYN. They're nicely designed. They just say, hey, I have a son named Noah. He's 8. Here's what he's been up to this year. I want to tell you how great our story has been this last year. And here's the cool thing. If you ever have a patient that has a child diagnosed with Down syndrome, here's my contact card with my number on it. I've been trained by Hope Story. I've got training resources. I'm available to talk to your patient 24 hours a day and be a friend in the community to that patient so that if a woman gets that news, she's not alone. She can have a friend, the Smith family, right there in Dallas, Texas, to say, hey, you're not alone. My wife wants to meet you for coffee, to talk to you, to share our story of hope. Because here's the deal. When people are afraid, fear makes people do some really, really crazy things. And what we want to do is take the fear, replace it with hope. And when you can exchange fear for hope, really positive things can happen. And so we believe the Hope Advocate process has the ability to change the world. I want to show you a quick video, hopefully here, of how we think this process will work. sure it's going to come up. Oh, no, there we go. It's coming up.
I mean, it's gonna be crazy. My life is gonna change. This was so amazing.
I wanted to go over some results from the testing that was done, and the prenatal test results came back with positive for trisomy 21, which is
Hi, Abby. This is Sarah. We just found out our baby is going to have Down syndrome. Our doctor told us about Hope's story, and he mentioned that we could meet up so we could learn more about your experience and meet your family. We're really looking forward to it.
Surprised, but it's a good journey.
Well, thank you. Well, listen, we think personal relationships have the ability to really save lives. And so if you're a woman here and you have an OBGYN, we'd love to connect with you. We'd love for you to share